Okay, so today we got a real fun video for you guys. In this video I'm going to show you how to do authorize and capture payments with Adyen gateways, also known as pre-authorizations, also known as two-step payments, and some people even call it dual message payments. This is the type of payment that lets you authorize the amount, meaning hold the amount or freeze the amount in the customer's card before actually charging it. So this is what you do when you go to a hotel and they ask you for a deposit of, let's say, $200, and then they hold that $200 in your bank account, and then if you ordered, let's say, room service for $100 and then you check out, on the checkout they're just going to charge you for that $100. That other $100 that you didn't use is still in your bank account. They just unfreeze it so you can use it. So this is the authorize and capture payments, and this is the end result of what we're trying to implement. So I enter my card number and then I hit pay, and then when I hit pay, the amount just gets authorized. Now my server will receive a webhook for this authorization. I can go to my webhooks here and see it. This is it right here. I need to copy that PHP reference, and then go to here and just show you what it looks like on my admin dashboard. So I authorized around $92. Now imagine that I'm some employee on the merchant side on the back office that is responsible for making sure that we have the stocks in place before, or the stocks available before we actually charge the customer. So I go in the back, I check if we have the skateboard. If we do, hit capture, and I charge the customer for the skateboard. If we have the t-shirt, I charge the customer for that. If we're out of stock for the shoes, then I could just release the $55 that we authorized before. So the customers are actually charged for $38, and they get an instant refund for the $55 that they're supposed to pay for the shoes, but we ran out of stock. So this is the authorize and capture. In this video, I'm not going to show you how to implement this interface. It's simple, anybody can implement it, and I already covered how to implement this payment page over here in a previous video. So in this video, I'm going to show you just how to implement the endpoint for authorization, and then the endpoint for capture, and then the endpoint for reversal. Okay, to do this, we're going to go ahead and start with a project that has this interface implemented, but it just doesn't have the endpoints implemented. So if you go, it's going to be the same code from my previous video, the components implementation. I just need to implement an endpoint here to create the session for the authorization. So to do that, you'll need to implement this API request. It's just like the API request from my previous video. The only difference here is that you use additional parameters here to explicitly ask for the payment to be authorized instead of captured right away. And also here you add another parameter that lets you capture part of the authorized amount instead of all of it. So let's say you authorized $11. This allows you to capture 5 out of that $11 instead of forcing you to capture the whole amount. First step would be to implement this API call. You send it and you'll get the same response from the previous video. This session data here, you're gonna grab it, and then you're gonna go to your JavaScript components library, this one, Adyen-web, and then you will put your session ID here, session data here, your order information here as well. Let's go ahead and implement that endpoint in this project file over here. Okay, and it's working. So here's what I did. I just copied the same code over from Postman, except a few values that I'll be getting from the client side. So the amount is passed by the client side. In my case, the currency is the same, and I did this on the amount. I multiplied by 100 because you need to put your amount in cents, or whatever the equivalent of cents in your currency. So for example, if the amount is $10.99, then you gotta put here 1,999 instead of 10.99. So this takes care of that conversion. And for the reference, I just created a method here that generates a random alphanumerical string based on an integer input here. So that's the whole request. And make sure you don't store your API key hard-coded like I do, right? Like this. You should just store it in an environment variable or something safer than that, because this is just for demo's sake. It's working. Everything is here. I'm gonna go ahead and deploy this to production and then use it in my client side to create the payment form. Okay, so I deployed my endpoint in production. This is the URL for it. I'm just gonna copy that and now go to my client side here, and here is where I create the session for my payment form. So I'll just slap my endpoint here. In my code, I am converting the amount here, so I don't need to do that actually, so I'm just gonna put it as it is. What this will do is that it will call my server endpoint to create the session like we saw in Postman, and then it'll take this parameter here, session data, put it here, and the session ID, this one, it's gonna get it from here. The amount and the currency are the same ones that I have here. You get this from your Adyen portal here under API credentials. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And this is here's where I handle the results. So for the purpose of this demo, I'm not handling the payment result. I just do everything manually. But let's test that out and see if it works. Okay. There you go. So now we have the payment form. And to make sure it's working, I need to do a test payment. Hit pay, and it says authorized. This is the session ID, this is the session result data, and it's still loading because I'm not handling the payment success. But if you go here in my logs, you can find my authorization. Yeah, this is the one. This is the transaction that I just pre-authorized. Cool. So this is the first step, and this is the PSP reference ID that I'm going to use for my subsequent requests. So I can take this and on Postman, just go here, and I'll show you how to capture a payment. This is what the capture request look like. You put your PSP reference here. I don't know why they insist on using the PSP reference for the capture request. I would rather use the same reference that we created in our server, because you can only get this value from the webhooks. I tried to find a GET request or anything so I can get this value manually. I can't even get it from the session response. So unfortunately, the only way to get this value is to implement your webhooks, which I show in my first Adyen video. I'm gonna link in the description box. You get this from your server through the webhooks, and then you put it here in the capture request. And then this request is pretty straightforward. You put the currency. It's got to be the same currency as the first authorization that you performed. And here you put how much you want to capture out of that $92 that you authorized before. So I'm capturing here $12.99. You send that. It'll say received. Received means your request for capturing the payment has been received by Adyen's payment processor, and the bank will process it. And by processing, I mean move the funds, usually around the end of the financial day. And if you go to your webhooks, sometimes it takes a while for it to show up in the webhooks. This is why I hate webhooks in general. They always have delays, but this is what there it is, finally. That took at least 2 minutes for it to show up here. Maybe because I'm using the sandbox environment, but in the production it might be faster, it might be more instantaneous. I don't know, I haven't tried. Anyways, you can send a capture request. That will leave me around $80 left that I haven't captured. So I can still go ahead and like send another request to capture maybe 32 more, right? And that will show up. And for the remaining amount, I got maybe around $20 remaining. I could just take that PSP reference and go to my other reversal request, which looks like this. There's nothing in it because you can't do a partial reversal. You have to reverse the whole thing, and it's going to reverse whatever the remaining amount that you haven't captured yet. So you send that, and it's going to say received, means that your request for reversing the amount has been received and going to be processed, and you're going to find out the status also through the webhooks. But I'm not going to wait for that again. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to implement the authorization, the capture API now. We're going to implement that here in our admin page. It's going to be here for these buttons over here. So when I press one of these, it's going to send the amount for this respective line item over here, $24. The amount is going to go here. PSP reference is coming from here, hard coded, and it's going to send a capture request to my server to just tell Adyen to capture this amount. So let's go ahead and implement that endpoint in my project folder here. Okay, there it is. Let's test if this thing is working in Sandbox. This is it. This is, and this one is different. I'm just gonna supply amount, currency, the amount I'm gonna capture, and the currency, and the PSP reference, and I send that, and it should respond by received. Good, it's working. But I put 1,000 here. I should have put 10 because in my project here I'm already multiplying by 100 to convert to cents. Anyways, that's fixed now. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna explain first a few things that I've done here. So again, random string using this method goes here for the reference. Amount and currency same as the previous endpoint. Different endpoint for captures, payment slash PSP reference value slash captures. That's it. That's all really. So I'm gonna go ahead and deploy that to production. Okay, so that got deployed to production. Let's go ahead and put that in our client side. Here I'm converting the amount again. I don't need to do that because I'm doing that on my server side like I mentioned earlier. Same here. They just show me in the console how much I'm capturing. Okay, so what's gonna happen is that when you click the button here on one of these items, it's gonna this is the button. Where is it? This is the button. It calls this method capture payment. Capture payment makes an API request to my server, who makes a request to Adyen. It gets the PSP reference from here. I'm hard coding it, but in your server you would instead get it from your database in some clever way. And then after it receives the response from the server, it's gonna check if it says received in the response, like it does here. Then it's gonna set this state variable to capture. Then it's gonna stop the loading indicator here, and it's gonna update the amount in the total paid. So what this does, set captured. When it's true, my interface shows this text instead of my capture button, so that the user doesn't capture it twice. And the amount is returned as a prop. Update total paid. Update total paid. This prop is used here. Where is it? Update total paid. This prop returns that amount that got updated for that specific item and updates this state variable here, total paid, which shows up here. You could have another one that says our total remaining instead, but I'd rather see how much I paid so far, how much the user paid so far. Anyways, so this is how you implement the capture. I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to implement the reversal, also known release authorization. So I'm gonna do this here, and this is what the sample API look like for that. I showed you that earlier. This is what the response looks like, so we're gonna go ahead and implement that. This is very easy. I can just straight up copy everything in my capture endpoint and just use it over here, because it's really not that different. But I just gotta remove some stuff. For example, I don't need the amount and the currency. I don't need the reference. Wait, I do need the reference, so I'm gonna keep that. I do need the PHP reference, so that's gonna stay. I need my method that's gonna generate a random string for me. So I got the reference, PHP reference goes here. Which you get from your client side. Like, this is what we did with the capture, and it's hard coded in my case. Again, don't hard code, please. Anyways, that's everything we need really. Instead of capture response, just this is cosmetic. I'm just gonna make it reversal response. Okay, that's all really. Let's go ahead and try reverse payment. This is an old PHP reference. I'm not sure if it's gonna work. What I do? My bad. I forgot to change this to reversals. I've been hitting the capture endpoints. Okay, alright. Let's try again. There we go. It's working. Now I can go ahead and deploy this to production. Firebase deploy. And sit back and relax and wait until it's deployed. I got nothing to do until then. Okay, my endpoint got deployed. This is the last endpoint to work on in this video. Copy that. Put it here. Okay, we should be all good. So this is the same thing is gonna happen when you when you click on refund the remaining amount. Where is it? This button over here. Refund remaining amount. It has two texts that's gonna show up depending on whether it's not the amount is refund. So you click on that, it's gonna hit this method, release authorization. Release authorization, make an API call to my server, like the one that I showed you earlier for reversals. It's gonna send the PHP reference, and then it's gonna check if the response received is received, mean that it was successful. It's gonna set reversed state variable to true, which and stop the loading because there will be a loading indicator here. And when this is true, here's what happens. When this is true, I pass that parameter to the shopping cart items. All of these will go refunded. Like you can see here, I have a condition that says if reversed, then this button becomes disabled and you can click it and grayed out, and here it says refunded instead of capture. Just a clever way to control that. What else it does? Also in this button, once it's reversed, the text is gonna change from refund remaining amount to refunded amount, and then I'm gonna show the amount that was refunded, which is the total paid. The cart items total, which is $92 in this case, minus the amount that has been paid, because you can only reverse the amount that has not been paid already, has not been captured. And the button will also become grayed out. So that's all in theory, but let's go ahead and test this end to end to see if it works. Starting from the payment page. 7. Hit pay, gets authorized. Now in our server, let's just imagine that this is our server. We need to check if we received the webhook for the authorization. We did, this time quickly, thank God. Copy that PSP reference, and then we go over here in our admin page. Let's just switch over to the admin page. Admin page. I'm gonna put my PSP reference here, but you should do that programmatically in a smart way. You get it from your server somehow through the webhooks. Anyways, but here's how I'm doing it. This time I'm gonna capture t-shirt. Okay, that's $13 paid. The shoes, that's $55 paid. And then I'm gonna refund this. Hit refund amount, and it says refunded amount 24, which is this amount over here. Perfect, that's it. That's all. You can also just refund everything. If everything is out of stock, you can just do that. There's no problem. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Pay, and then we switch over to the admin page. Let's just go ahead and get our authorization PSP reference again. There you go. Still haven't received webhooks to the captures though. That's fine, we don't need it. Okay, you put it here, switch over to the admin page, and I can just refund everything if I want to. I'm just gonna say refund amount 92.97. That's how you implement authorize and capture, also known as pre-auth, also known as two-step payment, also known as dual message payments, whatever you want to call it. Thank you for watching. Hope this video is helpful. If you have any questions, you can post them in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe. If you want to support this channel and get the source code for this video, you can check the Patreon link in the description box below. Otherwise, you could totally follow this video and every step in it and just implement this without getting the source code from Patreon. But if you do, I will thank you for that, and it will make your life easier. Anyways, I'll see you in the next video, and peace out.